Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Sorvent's non-meta tournament number 5, and here is the final. So up at the top we have Maticus, who is on Burning Abyss, and down at the bottom we have Hexagon, who is on Mermail Atlantean. So this is going to be a very fun and very intense duel, so I'm really excited to get into this. So before we do, I do want to mention that if you do want to play in these tournaments, you can go ahead and join the Discord link in the description below. Sorvent's non-meta tournament number 6 is starting soon, so if you are interested, go ahead and sign up. Just make sure to, check the ban list and make sure you know what is on it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So these guys did play in, I guess, round number 1, so I guess this is a rematch. I don't believe I featured it, so yeah, here we go with a rematch, I guess. I believe that in the first time around, Maticus won, but we are... This is still going to be pretty intense, I believe. I don't know. It's still very undetermined. You'll see as we go. So Moray of Greed is going to go ahead and come down, drawing 3 other cards. While shuffling 2, drawing 3. Drawing into the Megalo is pretty nice here. And 1-for-1 hitting this Neptibus. He already drew the Neptibus, so this is actually kind of rough. But Neptibus is going to come down, sending a copy of Dragoon, and Dragoon is going to go ahead and search for a second copy of Dragoon. Or I guess the Neptibus searches for the Dragoon, and the Dragoon searches for Lapis Dragon, which is going to be going ahead and special summoning itself. Then Abystius is going to be using its effect, discarding the Dragoon to special itself, and add a Mermail monster, and as well as Dragoon is going to be adding this copy of Heavy Infantry. Then he is going to go ahead and link off into a copy of Coral Anemone, which should be able to bring something back as well. But Abyss Megalo is going to be using its effect to send the Heavy Infantry and the Abyss Gunday to the grave. Might have been better for him to search for like a second copy of Dragoons off of this. Although maybe Dragoons can't search Dragoons, so I think that makes sense, actually. Since, yeah, I can't search Dragoons, but he can maybe have searched something else, I'm not too sure. Gunday is going to be using the effect to special summon the Abystius back from the grave, and Megalo is going to be searching for the Mizuchi. Then Coral Anemone should be able to trigger here as well. It looks like Abyss Megalo is actually going to be using its effect to get rid of the Neptibus to get... Okay, so yeah, he was actually wondering if he could use the Abyss Megalo effect, but he actually can't, so. Okay, then Coral Anemone is going to be using its effect here to bring back this Lapis Dragon, and he's going to synchro off into a copy of Brionac. Then he's going to overlay into a copy of Abyss Gaios. Then using the Mizuchi to equip to the Abyss Gaios, he negates a spell card on his opponent's field. So he just has like a spell negate, and I believe that like level 5 or higher monsters can attack, and... oh, it also is like a blanket skill drain, so that's actually not too bad. So yeah, he's gonna go ahead and start off with a set 3 and pass. Okay, so 2 copies of Dynamiscus and a Torrential. So we'll see how well this does. So looks like the Dynamiscus is going to go ahead and banish the Abyss Gaios, and then a Rhino is going to send a Graph to the grave, and Graph should get a special off of Skarm. So he's got a little bit of defense here, but it's probably going to get bounced to hand off of the Brionac, but we'll see. Coral Anemone is going to be using its effect to bring back Neptibus back from the grave, and Torrential Tribute is going to be used here, and it's going to destroy everything. Then I think that everything should have probably triggered here. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the Skarm's triggering in the end phase is what I mean, and searching for a copy of Tour Guides. So, yeah, he's back in the game. You know, it looked a little rough, but I mean, the traps pretty much got him there. So, Tour Guide is going to be normal summoned here, and using the effect to special summon a second copy of a Rhino from the extra deck, or main deck. I keep saying extra deck, I'm not sure why. Dante is going to be using its effect to send a Rhino to the grave and mill 3 as cost. And hitting that second copy of Skarm is pretty good as well. Venus Rhino can also use its effect here to go ahead and send back Jack to the graveyard. And he's wondering if Dante's ever used for 1, and that's actually pretty common in the Burning Abyss decks. Typically, if you just have like a Seer or a Graph under the Dante, you don't want to mill the other one that you don't have access to. I think it's like actually if you have the Graph, you don't want to mill the Seer, so you don't mill 3, you milled 1, since you have to mill 1, but at least 1 at least is what I'm saying. But yeah, so you're going to attack for 25 here, and Dante switching to defense, but it's not going to matter since he's obviously just going to make a Beatrice. Barbara should use its effect here as well to banish 3 others from the graveyard, inflicting 900. Oh, just 3, actually. That's a little bit different than normal. Then he's going to go ahead and set this copy of Heavy Storm Duster, which I don't think is going to do a whole lot in this match, but Skarm's going to search for Seer in the end phase, and he's going to pass his turn. So, Hexagon is going to start off with a Moray of Greed, shuffling 2 waters back, drawing 3, basically fixing his hand, hopefully, at least is the idea. This 1-for-1 is still pretty much stuck in his hand, though, since Neptibus is limited and it's in the graveyard. So, yeah. So, looks like he's just going to go ahead and set maybe 3 back row, just 2 back row, actually. Pass his turn. Then the copy of Beatrice is going to be using its effect here, and Dante can get a add back for Skarm, and the effect of Skarm can also search as well. Heavy Storm Duster can come down here. It's not going to matter since those were just bluffs anyways. Then he can pass his turn. He's got a BLS, and at this point that is 55, which is game. So moving into game number 2. Looks like Maticus just pretty much grinded out of that really well, actually. So Medallion of the Ice Barrier is going to search for a copy of Medium of the Ice Barrier, and he's going to start off with a Moray of Greed to shuffle it and the copy of Deep Sea Minstrel back into the deck. And drawing 3, he draws into a Lapis Dragon, which he should be able to special here. And he can lock his opponent out with this Barrier Statue of the Torrent, although I don't know if he wants to. He can make a Croco Dragon here as well to get a draw. I'm not sure. Let's see what he does. So, yeah, he's going to actually go into Coral Anemone and maybe bring back this Barrier Statue, set a card, and pass his turn. So I'm not sure if Maticus can actually out this Barrier Statue naturally in his deck, since Farfa only has 100 attack. So maybe he can, like, impermanence it, but then what, right? Like, there's not really a whole lot he can do, but he's going to decide to hit the back row, actually. So hitting this Kraken is, like, fine. Then he's just going to go ahead and set 3 back row and maybe hope this is enough. I guess Trap Trick and Trap Trick into a, probably like a Dynamiscus, and then banish it with Farfa. Discarding the Farfa is what I mean. Main 1, he's going to go ahead and use Teos Effect to go ahead and discard this copy of Deep Sea Minstrel. Special summon itself, searching for a Mermail. He can normal summon this Mermail and switch everything to attack. He's going to overlay for a Bahamut Shark and probably discard or detach like the copy of Torrent, but this is going to get hit with probably, yep, an Ice Dragon's Prison, since he does have a Sea Serpent engraved, which is Lapis Dragon. So Ice Dragon's Prison can probably go ahead and, oh, he's actually not going to use Ice Dragon's Prison? That's actually very strange. I probably would have definitely banished it here, although you still would have been under the Waterlock, since Coral Anemone can just bring back the Torrent. He's going to do that anyway, so he's going to probably Special Toad. Oh, Impermanence is going to hit it, so that makes sense, but he's out of traps for the rest of the turn, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what the idea was there, but he's going to bring everything back. And he's going to go ahead and attack for a lot of damage, really. So, yeah, let's see what it gets. Just down to 700. Okay, his math was pretty close. I don't know. I feel like definitely getting rid of this Ice Dragon's Prison was better. Or getting rid of the Bahamut Shark was better than negating it. But I don't know. That's just me. He's just going to scoop up the game, though, so that's going to be it for game number 2. Moving into game number 3, he's going to be opting to go first this time. So he does have like a Farfa and an Alec, or a Skarm as well, is kind of nice. So he's going to go ahead and special summon this Alec and overlay it with Skarm into a Dante, probably detaching the Skarm here and then getting a second Skarm. That's like okay. Rhino can also use its effect here to send a Graph, which will send or special Seer from the deck. Then he's going to link off into a copy of IP. And then Seer can also use its effect as well as Dante. They should be able to basically recover each other. So the Dante is going to add back the Seer, and then the Seer is going to special the Dante, and he's going to discard the Seer over for the Dante to get into a copy of Beatrice. So Beatrice IP pass, pretty much. It's like not bad. And he does have a Paleozoic Banish, which can also banish with Farfa. So I guess that's like 2 interruptions, 3 interruptions if you want to count the Beatrice. I guess technically the he could send like the Backjack, which is not bad, and he does have a follow-up next turn with the Tour Guide as well. He can't send a second Farfa since Farfa's only once per turn. I guess he could send it, but there's no reason to. So, yeah, moving into main phase 1, he's going to go ahead and special summon Medium of the Ice Barrier, so 1 Speller Trap, but he only has 1 anyways that he realistically wants to activate since this Foolish Burial is basically just a bluff, so. He's just going to go ahead and go into battle phase. End of main phase, he's going to use Beatrice effect to go ahead and send a Farfa to the grave, and Farfa is going to banish this Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Dante targeting Seer, yeah, he already knew Farfa targeting, but He's going to go ahead and add back, obviously, the Seer back, and then he can discard this with Dynamiscus to get a special back for the Dante, so he has a lot of recovery here. Netopus is going to be normal summoned here. IP is going to be using its effect to link off into a unicorn, discarding this copy of Seer to shuffle it back, as well as, bringing back the Dante off of the Seer effect. So realistically, just a lot going on here. End phase medium can bring itself back, and he does not have a whole lot else, so he's just going to pass this turn. Yeah, kind of rough. But Tour Guide is going to be normal summoned here, and it will be special summoning a copy of Barbar from the deck. And then he's going to link off into a Nightmare Cerberus, discarding the Farfa, getting rid of the medium, because, why not? And then he's going to banish 3 for Barbar and add back the Seer from the Dante effect. And he gets a draw for the Cerberus. And Foolish Burial Goods is going to be sending Libic to the graveyard. And then he can use the effect to special summon Seer out of the hand, and it's negated, so it won't get destroyed by its own effect. And then he can go ahead and link off the Tour Guide and the Seer into a Nightmare Phoenix. And the Seer will bring back the Dante, and obviously he can't really destroy any back row with the Phoenix, but this might still be game here. I don't know the math here, but it seems like quite a lot of damage. So just bringing him down to 400 life points. Pretty rough. He still gets an extra turn, but these nightmares are co-linked, and so they can't be destroyed by battle, card effects, and when Maticus draws for turn, he's going to be drawing 3, so it's going to be pretty rough. Dante is going to be switching itself to defense mode due to its own effect, and Deep Sea Aria is going to be using the effect to add a level 4 or lower Sea Serpent type monster from the deck to hand. So adding this copy of Deep Sea Diva isn't too bad, especially since he has the Neptupus in the deck since it was shuffled off the Unicorn. So normal summoning Diva using the effect, and Valor drops on the Diva, and that's going to be it for that game. So pretty much, like, I guess it's like kind of die rolly, and like depending on what everyone draws, I don't know, it seems like a very fun match though. So I did enjoy this. Unfortunately, I don't think Hexagon got to build too big of a board. I think he mostly bricked that game number 2 at least, but he still ended up winning. It just seemed like more of a brick. I think game number 1 was also pretty rough, so yeah, there was not really a whole lot he could have done, especially going into like 4 or 5 interruptions on his first turn is like pretty rough since everything floats in the BA deck. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in hopefully the Discord server so you can play in the tournament. But yeah, with all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.